Today, I am joined by someone who's been seen all around the BC scene over the last few years. I'm pleased to be joined by Dirty Eddy Ross. Eddy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Awesome. So let's start off by talking about your training. You trained at the Lions Gate Dojo. Talk to me about your time there and maybe a highlight from your time there.
Well, honestly, it's been amazing. Great journey. The dojo is a great place to learn. There's a wealth of knowledge. You got guys like Casey Ferreira, Elliot Tyler, Evan Rivers, and of course the coaches. It's amazing. What I've learned, well, some memories would be, getting comfortable stepping into the ring, just not being a fan anymore and actually pursuing this. And that's always a big thing. You get those little like nerves, like, should I be getting into the ring? So there's that. There's taking your first bump, um, doing your first move. That's always a big one. Um, for me, DDT, good old fashioned DDT, learning that, it's tried and true and it's gotten me out of plenty of situations. So learning that, that's pretty cool. And being a kid and seeing a DDT and then being able to get in there and then do one, that's pretty cool.
Do you feel like maybe a little bit of like imposter syndrome turning from a fan to like a wrestler in the ring now? Like, does it feel real or does it feel like, oh, am I really doing this?
Um, for the first little bit, and every now and again, that does creep up in the back of your mind, like when you have a big match or a big important show and you're sitting there and you're about to go out of the curtain and yeah, the adrenaline's running and you're just thinking to yourself like, am I supposed to be here? What am I doing? But then you just clicks and then I'm out that curtain and that's when Dirty Eddie comes out.
For sure. So, nice little segue here for someone that's maybe never seen an Eddie Ross match. What can they expect?
I have tricks up my sleeve. I have one too many things you're not going to see coming. I'm unpredictable, but is that just how I make you feel? You know, I've that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get unpredictability with me, and it's like you're lighting a firecracker. Is it gonna blow up in your hand? You're not gonna know. So I think that's what you're gonna get with me. It's just like I'm vicious. I do what I need to do to get the job done. I have no remorse for it. This is just trying to make my way to the top, and I'll do whatever I have to do to get there. That's what you're gonna see.
Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. To help support us, click that like button and make sure to hit subscribe.
Now, talking about doing whatever you can to get to the top, we've seen you use brass knuckles. We've seen you smash a beer bottle across your opponent's face. We've even seen you stab your opponent with a light tube. Why do you have that killer instinct in you that, you'll just do whatever it takes to earn a victory?
Have you seen how hungry the wrestlers are around here, man? They're all chomping at the bit, and you need something to get ahead of the pack. Sometimes, life's not always fair, and I look at it as if life's not going to be fair, sometimes you have to play a little dirty to get ahead, and I'm okay with that. I think a lot of people, they let their morals get in the way, and that's just not me. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that's how I see it. There's a lot of competition out there. And if you're willing to cross the line, well, you're going to get ahead further. So that's the game plan. That's always the game plan. And it's just a matter of like, if my opponent can't cross the line, well, they're out of luck because I will.
As James Storm once said, sorry about your damn luck.
Exactly.
We've seen that, we talked about your I guess, darker side with bringing, whatever it takes into the ring. We've also seen that you've been involved in a dog collar match with Elliot Tyler. Do you have any other hardcore match style types that are on your bucket list that you want to conquer?
Oh, I was just at the dojo yesterday, and I was just talking to Mason Crowley um, about just different matches. And I don't quite know exactly. A steel cage would be nice. Um, I'm open with the right opponent and everything. I can be open to certain things, but a steel cage would be nice. That's definitely up there. My bucket list was a dog collar match. So to even get that and to even get a last man standing match with Bishop, of all people, a BC legend, that's a big deal. So I'm very fortunate there to get those opportunities. And whatever comes up, I'm open to it. But the steel cage would definitely be up there.
Well, crossing my fingers for you on that one. Can't lock up the caged animal, Dirty Eddie Ross.
Exactly.
So you talked about, knocking off the dog collar match off of your bucket list. You talked about performing with a 20-year or more vet with Bishop. Why do you think you're earning these opportunities for yourself?
I maybe a bit of luck, maybe the effort that I put in, and maybe just the attitude I have. I'm gonna take what I can get, and I'm gonna run with it and do whatever I can. My passion is storytelling. That's my main passion here. That's what drives me. Anytime I can try and tell a story, and that stipulations like dog collar matches and last man standings, that comes with the territory. Eventually, that comes with the territory, and I think that's just it. I'm willing to tell a story. I like telling stories. Just I get very passionate about that aspect of wrestling. Um, so I think that's part of it too. Um, yeah, and again, just a bit of luck, you know,
Right place, right time, right attitude.
right attitude. Yeah, exactly. Just the stars align sometimes, but I can't say that there's not some effort on my part to try and make these things happen.
That leads nicely into my next question is I noticed, how many promos you post online, whether it's at a show or whether it's, at the dojo or whatever. Tell me about who or what your inspirations are behind the delivery of your promos.
Um, wow, that's a good question. That's a good question. I have to say, even though I don't have the cadence of him, Jake the Snake is definitely a big one. If you want to get good at promos and doing promos, or just like somebody to watch, Jake the Snake. I don't have his cadence. I don't really talk too slow. I get a little wild. I know I do. um, Roddy Piper, some of the territory heels out there. I can't think of them off by hand right now. Um, yeah, just guys like those. I just mainly those great heels of the past. I try and like just see how they do things, but also try and keep it me.
The mixture of your inspirations and what kind of drives you inside as well. And
Yes, exactly.
you can really tell how much effort you put into that. It's not just, hey, this guy, this match. You're putting yourself out there. You're telling that story like you talked about earlier.
Well, I early on, like when I started, that was kind of like my bread and butter. Yeah, that's what I really focused on because, like, right, I'm not the flashiest wrestler. I starting to pull out some more flashy things, trying to, but I'm just not that. I got my way of doing things. It's not always flashy, and that's why the promos just matter so much more to me. It's gets my point across. it promotes the show, and it gets you to understand exactly who I am and what I'm going to do.
And that gets people to understand who you are as soon as you cross that curtain as well.
Exactly. That's the perfect thing, is
Yeah.
having them kind of have a sense of what they're going to get, and adding to it by just being up in their faces, because I love doing that. I love just taking my walk around the ring when I can and trying to have a moment with anybody I can. Because once you get one person in one section that really doesn't like you, then that rest of that section is going to start booing, and it's just perfect. It's what I like to do. It gives me a lot of joy. I I like being you know the villain here.
Yeah. Just a couple more questions for you. I appreciate your time today. Any long-term or short-term goals in wrestling that you have right now?
Short term goals. Wrestle more. It's just be consistent, wrestle more. I don't really try and full on like a list of opponents. I just like whatever comes, try and make the best of it. Big opportunities come, make the best of it. Um, long term like the long term, um, you know, if I can one day, fingers crossed, one day be like Nicole Matthews, known all around, that would be great. If I can travel around the world, that would be great. You know, I'm not too laser focused on the whole contract. I'm not saying that's not something that's in the back of my mind, but you know, just if I could be world traveled and known for being me and what I can do, that would be the blessing.
So we're hoping for 2026 for Eddie Ross. We're hoping for a cage match, and we're hoping that you get to travel a little more in the world of wrestling.
Exactly. Yeah.
And last question for you: plug any upcoming matches that you have and where we can find Eddie Ross.
Okay, sounds good. I'll just pull up my list here. So, February 7th, Big West is having a very big debut in Surrey. You can catch me there. You're going to catch me there with my partner, Nick Hayes, as Roadhouse. And that's going to be a fun one. Somebody's going to get beat up. It's going to be the other guys, not us. Just telling you that now. February 14th, it's Boom Kits League. I'm going to keep my winning ways going because obviously I'm the man that's going to win that tournament. No offense. I know there's a lot of good talent in that tournament, but you know, I'm Dirty Eddie. So, and then, you know, it's not totally confirmed. I don't know if I can confirm it. There might be an NEW somewhere in there around the 21st. Gonna leave that there. And then further ahead, even further ahead, uh, April 4th, I'll be making my debut for Tapped Wrestling Federation. And I'm looking forward to stepping in there and conquering another company, showing them what Dirty's all about.
Amazing. Looking forward to seeing you at those upcoming shows and for whatever's next for you, Eddie. I really appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah, I enjoyed the interview. It's great that you're doing this.